Yeah. The horns just sound so much better when they're happening before a big pay-per-view event, and that's what we're getting tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The UFC is back in Boston, Massachusetts. Big bantamweight title fight headlining between Aljamain Sterling and Sean O'Malley. We have an under-the-radar women's strawweight title fight between Zhang Weili and Amanda Lemos. The heat is on. Ian Machado Gary versus Neil Magny. The most personal Neil Magny fight maybe in his long, historic UFC career. This is just a top-to-bottom, very, very solid card. Every fight is interesting. Every fight has a storyline and some stakes attached to it. And that's the way we like it. Welcome to the People's Pre-Fight Show here on MMAfighting.com. I am Mike Heck here in New York City. Got here this morning after spending the last few days in Boston. We got the watch party going down tonight. And I am jacked up, baby. I am jacked up for this card. Thank you for joining us. And joining me, per usual, the baddest ass in MMA media, the best damn chair swinger in all of MMA media, the one and only Casey Leydon, the undefeated fighter.
2, 3 spins! 3 spins today! That's how excited I am! 3! You get 3! Woo! I'm dizzy!
A 3-spin card. This is like the new scale. This is the new gymnastics scale. If we get 1 spin, it's fine. If we get 2 spins, it's good. But if we get 3 spins,
3 spins.
Ooh, we're rocking and rolling, Casey. How you doing, man?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Got my morning training in. I mixed some martial arts. Got all sweaty with the boys. Took a shower. Had my smoothie, and now I'm here talking to you. 3 spins, baby. That's so excited. I am excited. I didn't even take my pre-fight nap. I'm ready. I'm pumped. And I agree with you. Every fight on this card, there's interest in every fight in this card. So that's you can't ask for more. I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
I have interest in every fight in the card. So yay.
Yes, and hopefully you are all interested in this fight card as well, and that's why we're here. We're going to take your questions, your comments, until the fights begin. Casey, just let me know when the first fight's about to start, and then we can stop because I will not have them on here. So I'm giving that duty to you. So chuck your questions in. We'll pull them up on the screen, and we will discuss. And then once the card starts, we'll wrap up, and we can enjoy the fights.
All right. Questions. Hold on. Oh, got lots of comments. Where do I have it? Yeah. Let's start with this one, actually.
Okay. What's the low-key banger, Casey? There's a lot of options here.
Ooh, you know what's crazy? You could. I don't think it's. Oh, guess you just showed up. Hold on.
No.
Hold on one moment. Let me.
I did feel the temperature rise a little bit. I feel like the takes are about to get a little spicier.
Oh, hello, Mr. Hot Take. Can you? Does he know he's on?
I don't know. There he is. Hi, Jed.
Hey, friends. How we doing?
We got fights coming up, Jed. Are you excited? You excited for this card?
Fight. I'm very excited for this card. I didn't realize we were starting at this moment in time. I was a little behind.
Okay.
It happens.
Fights aren't 30. We're usually 30 minutes up. We were a little faster than I was prepared for.
It's a pay-per-view, Jed. It's a pay-per-view. We usually walk a little bit earlier, but that's okay.
We go 45 early for pay-per-views.
To be fair, and Casey can attest to this, I forgot you were hosting until like 1 minute before I jumped in here. I was like, oh, all right, I'll go do other stuff because I have a bunch of stuff to do to get ready for the watch party, but this all works out. Now we get the 3 of us. So all right, so Jed, I'll ask you first because there's a lot of options here. What's the low-key banger for this card?
Ooh, low-key. So can we consider the tough finales low-key, or are they – I know AK believes they are the true main and co-main event of the card. So this probably can't be low-key. It's got to be Gregory Rodriguez, Dennis Tululin, right? Like that fight's probably just going to be insane because it's a RoboCop fight. And when is RoboCop not an insane fight?
It's very true. Casey?
Oh, man. I'm actually to say the low-key banger is honestly the co-main event. It really is. It's an awesome fight. I like you said, I was very high on Amanda Lemos. Honestly, until she ran into not her loss to Andrade, because I think that was kind of, hey, things happen. Actually, Angela Hill. Angela Hill I thought Angela Hill won that fight, and I think Angela Hill is a very good fighter, but I don't think Angela Hill is the top 5 fighter. But Amanda Lemos, she was on an awesome run. But I think matchup-wise, this could be a super exciting fight. But outside of the main card, I'm actually really looking forward to the second fight of the night, Andrea Lee versus Natty Silva. I think that's going to be a very fun, exciting, violent fight. And maybe, I don't want to say coming out party for Natty Silva, but yeah, but she beats Andrea Lee. I mean, I don't know. I think just 125. The women's 125 is getting very exciting, and I like that fight a lot. And the fight right before that, but especially Lee and Silva. So that's the fight I'm really pretty hyped about. But you know what? Like this whole card rules. It really does. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a big spot for Natty Ice. I think it could be a breakthrough performance, but this could be the arrival fight for her, where it's like, all right, like we knew she was fun. We saw a lot of upside in her, but this is the one where, all right, now she's a ranked fighter. We can start giving her tougher climbs, tougher matchups. And yeah, there's something about her, because at ceremonials yesterday, there's an aura to her.
Yeah,
where
I noticed that.
She could be like, she has star potential. She definitely has star potential, not just with the way she fights, but there is something about her
There's a presence. She has a presence.
She does have a presence.
And that's what, you hear Dana say a lot. It's like, there's an it factor. And I think she has it with her fighting style and just her presence. And I'm excited about it. And I think this is a really cool matchup. Has anyone just ran through Andrea? I know Andrea Lee's had some losses, but has anyone really just kind of, steamrolled her? I'm trying to think.
Nothing really jumps out.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if this is the fight where it happens, but it's a good fight. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Ooh, it's kind of...
Jed, I'm going to change the beginning of this question because of how you feel about this main event. When Sean O'Malley beats Aljo and Cheeto beats Munoz, do you think it's fair for Sean to rematch Cheeto for his first title defense instead of deserving contenders like Merab or Sandhagen?
Sure. I mean, it's not like if this was a meritocracy. No, Cheeto lost to Sandhagen. By definition, Corey Sandhagen should be in front of him, but this ain't. That's not how this works. So it's fine. As long as it's not egregious, and like Corey Sandhagen probably would feel that that's egregious, but it's not. Cheeto Vera might not be the most deserving contender at that point in time, but he will be a relatively deserving title contender. Like, my stance on this thing. Like, just give me reasonable title fights is all I want from a champion, is a champion to fight against other reasonable opposition. In a perfect world, they'd fight, the best guy up, but I'd be fine with it. Corey Sandhagen certainly getting screwed. Merab, be tough for him as well. I think there is a world, if both of these two dudes win, that's the fight's happening. But if just O'Malley wins, Merab probably does get to sneak into a title fight and try and avenge it for his teammate or whatever. So that'd be cool at least.
What do you think, Casey? And what's more interesting to you in the fallout of this? Sean O'Malley winning or Aljo winning and vacating the title?
The fallout was more interesting. I think Aljo winning and seeing who takes over the belt, who becomes the next Aljo, if Aljo wins. But real quick, why no love for Pedro? Why are we getting no love for Pedro here? Is it just simply he doesn't move the needle enough, or what is it?
Are you saying love as in Pedro can get a title shot with the win?
Oh yeah, if Pedro whoops up on Cheeto tonight and then O'Malley wins, why is that?
That's not happening. Because Pedro has beat Chris Gutierrez, and then he'd be beating Cheeto, and that's it. But like before that, it was the O'Malley thing, and then he lost to Dom. So he's just not like in that conversation right now. He's got to beat somebody that's not Chris Gutierrez, and that's no disrespect to Chris Gutierrez, who I think is a tough guy, but it's not. I don't even think the UFC has him ranked. So you can't just beat Cheeto, who shouldn't get a title fight with the win. You can't just beat that dude get to the top of the line like O'Malley did with Petr
Yeah, I
Yan.
mean, I'm
So at least Petr Yan was the number one dude at the time.
because I mean, I think Cheeto's had his losses. He took his whooping from Sandhagen and stuff, and then did Cheeto? Who did Cheeto? No, Cheeto beat Pont. Never mind. I don't know. I just think of the whole eye poke situation. Like, and I know I was watching Pedro's his scrum, beautifully shot by Jose Youngs. So I just thought there was some heat there, and I've always been a big Pedro Munoz fan. So he kind of gives me he's kind of to me like the Vicente Luque of bantamweights in a sense, where he doesn't move the needle, but you get an exciting fight from him. He's that type of guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Great fighter. I think this fight's going to be awesome. I think he has zero chance of fighting Sean O'Malley after it, win or lose. But if he beats Cheeto and then can beat somebody and O'Malley's the champion, then absolutely they'll run that because there's a story there.
Yeah.
Okay.
He needs to get O'Malley's attention. If he doesn't get O'Malley's attention, if O'Malley's not saying his name, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. I thought Pedro was winning that fight until he got eye poked, but that's another story.
He was definitely winning that fight.
Yeah.
1,000% he was winning that fight.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Question, excluding the 2 title fights, Jed, who has the most to lose tonight?
Chris Weidman seems like the obvious answer, right? Like, I mean, he wins by fighting, but I don't know if he comes out and throws a kick and his leg falls apart again, that feels like the worst outcome that any person can suffer on this fight card. So knock on wood. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. I certainly don't hope that happens, but only one of the people on this fight card has had a career / appendage threatening injury happen to them, and they are coming back for the first time off of it. Like, you hear the way Chris Weidman talked about recovery, and like, I don't know, when he's saying stuff like, there was a world where I just had to lose the leg. That was scary. Like, he's winning by fighting, but he also, I'm going to be real nervous every leg kick he throws is going to be the most tense situation of the evening by far.
Have we had a not double leg break, but like a fighter break his leg twice? Like, not in UFC, but just in general. I mean, I know I get the concern, but like, is this a concern that we've never actually seen?
I'm sure it isn't. It can't be a common thing, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just going to be there forever until you see how it holds up under live fire. And I absolutely assume it's going to be fine, but the fear exists.
Do we have that? What was the? Can you go back in time? Remember the emotions when Anderson fought? Well, I guess Anderson's fight after he lost to Weidman the second time. Was it? Were we having the same feelings? I can't really. I'm trying to recall the feelings when Anderson.
Who did he fight? Was that the Brunson fight after? Who did he fight? No, that was the Nick Diaz fight.
Yeah.
I don't remember that being part of it, but that was also just a very Nick Diaz is a much more galvanizing name than Brad Tavares. Can you think of 2 more disparate people than Brad Tavares and Nick Diaz in the public consciousness? So I don't really remember that, but I do remember, like, it was his first fight in 2 years or whatever coming off that, and it was, I don't know. But that's entirely this fight to me is a lot of like, how's Chris Weidman gonna look? It was a really scary thing that happened.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, I'm not too concerned about the leg. I think there's no way he walks into that cage with a leg that's compromised. I'm just like, dude's 39 and hasn't looked, that hot for a while. Like, good leg or no leg, So I'm just I just want to know where Chris Weidman is in terms of middleweight ranking, So we'll see.
Do you agree with that, Casey, that Weidman has the most to lose outside of the title fights?
I was gonna say Gary, actually, because I'm not thinking the leg break. I'm thinking more like career wise, who, like, if they lose a fight, they're never getting back in. Well, for Chris Weidman too, I get that because
Gary will be fine.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It'll be a rough week for him. It'll be a rough week.
Yeah, it'll be a tough week, but like, it's gonna be a speed bump in Ian Gary's. That's the thing. You look at the fight cards. Like, I don't have any idea what Damon Blackshear and Mario Batista are fighting for, or what either man loses. That is just another fight, man. Like that's just a fist fight.
Yeah.
Like Cheeto, you could make an argument. I'm willing to hear an
Yeah,
argument
that's
that if
my
Cheeto
pick.
loses this, that's tough. But Cheeto's also still relatively young and one of the most popular dudes in this division. And if O'Malley wins, even if Cheeto loses this, he's still at some point he gets to fight Sean O'Malley again. So I think Cheeto gonna be all right, regardless what happens. Pedro, I don't know, man. Like I don't think he's really close to fighting for a title anyway. So I think a loss here is it's not a lot of people with a ton to lose in this fight, other than the fights themselves. You know,
Brad Katona. Like if he loses, I don't know if the UFC signs him.
I don't think they
I
do.
don't know. They sign everybody for
They do.
nothing, so it feels hard for me to imagine they wouldn't. But that probably is the better answer. One of the tough fights, like who loses that, you know.
Yeah, just
But
Yeah.
in terms of just career, like they just don't have a professional fighting career. You know, if they lose, they might. Yeah, I think they.
or maybe they'll go to PFL and have a much more lucrative
Yeah.
professional fighting career.
Uh,
And wait forever for their fights to start.
oh my god.
Just saying, Austin Hubbard can go be boring in the PFL and maybe boring his way to $1 million. That wouldn't shock me.
His first fight was it? Okay, whatever. All right. Okay. Next question. Yeah, answer that one.
Does the UFC go to China in the fourth quarter if Weili wins today? There are rumors that Chinese fighters are told not to take a fight. Nolan King said that about 3 weeks ago on the MMA Junkie podcast. I've heard rumblings potentially for another card in that vicinity, perhaps. Maybe kind of like blending in with the Road to UFC
First week of December?
finals. Yeah, that's
So there's like no windows left, so that would have to be
yeah.
about it.
So it'll be
But
Weili Yan and like a fight night, one of those middle of the night fight nights over here, but like an actual, it won't be a pay-per-view, I assume. The pay-per-view
I mean,
probably
they
not.
maybe
yeah,
just-
just 296 looks like it's set for T-Mobile. So, and I doubt they do a pay per view in China when they could just do a fight card and run this and it'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would
I
say
guess.
possibly.
I mean, if Weili wins, I guess maybe. I hadn't thought about it. I just sort of assumed that she was done for the year, but certainly if she wins quickly, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Has the UFC done a pay-per-view in China? Am I forgetting something? Or just
I don't
fight
think so.
nights?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. But I'm
When
fairly
Zhang won the
certain.
title the first time, it was not a
it
pay
was
Yeah,
a
per
fight
no.
view.
night, yeah.
They've done a tough China finale, but no pay per
Yeah,
views.
but nothing like pay-per-view where they have to fight like at 4 a.m. type of thing. All right.
Yeah, no pay per views.
Shout out Nolan King. I saw him a bunch this
Yeah.
week.
Good guy.
What happens to Ian Machado Gary if he loses? Jed, I'll let you kind of, contextualize this a little bit more because I'm with you. It'll be a tough week for him, but he's not going to lose very much. People will still want to see him fight. He might have a few extra hecklers by the time that fight happens, but he's only 25. He's just getting started here. And on the same token, what happens to Neil Magny if he gets just blasted out of there tonight?
Neil Magny gonna keep on keeping on. This is Neil Magny's job. Yeah, y'all are confused. There are a lot of people out there who think Neil Magny's job is to get into fist fights 2 to 3 times per year. And that is not it. Neil Magny is a measuring stick. His job is to assess the quality of certain fighters within the context of the division. And if you measure up to him, great. You get to go on through this door into the top 10, top 12. And if you don't, back, young idiot, you are not good enough. Like he is not a fighter. He is a tool. Neil Magny is a tool to measure others. So he's going to keep on doing that until till he stops being a useful tool, until the car breaks down of him. So he going to just, fight somebody else next. Honestly, maybe he's rebooked. Mike, this is your realm, not mine. If he comes out here and loses to Ian Gary, wouldn't totally shock me if they were like, what's Jack Della Maddalena doing? Because coming off his most recent performance where he had the worst instincts I've ever seen from a person grappling, Neil Magny's kind of dude who could maybe make that like very dangerous fight for you out of nowhere. So he's just going to keep, testing out up and comers, seeing where they are, and just doing his thing, filling in fight cards on short notice and just being a guy like that. If Ian loses, he's going to have a real tough week. Talked a lot of trash. Just going to chickens come home to roost a little bit, and then he'll be fine. He'll still going to be a top 15 fighter in the UFC's rankings. He'll maybe take a step back. And the way he loses, we'll have questions moving forward about him that he'll then need to address and answer. If he, gets out cardioed or whatever, we'll be like, oh, is that? But he's 25. He's going to be fine. This dude's going to be part of your life in the welterweight division, top 10, top 15 for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, who knows? If JDM beats Kevin Holland September 16th, would you still maybe give him that Magny test? Or
if he
do you
beats
think that's
Kevin
enough?
Holland, you probably don't. Because if he beats Kevin Holland, you probably are just you're forced to at least shoot him upward up the ladder. But like then that's just the problem of okay, if you beat Kevin Holland, like Neil Magny is like the lowest level grappler you can put somebody against. And I'm not saying that Neil Magny is a low level grappler, but the top at welterweight is just a bunch of dudes who can wrestle and grapple their ass off. And Neil Magny's like not quite as good as those dudes. JDM might get shortcutted into that if he beats Kevin Holland here, which is fine, but it could be a really, really big come to Jesus moment for him if he goes in there and it's like, hey, so now you got to fight Sean Brady. And remember when you were jumping on ill-advised Gillies like 3 months ago? Sean Brady's gonna run you, son. Like you can't be doing that against Sean Brady, Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, like Shavkat. It's just not gonna work. So I didn't realize he booked there. If he wins that fight, he's probably going to move up. If he loses that fight, I would bet all of the no dollars that I have in my account that if these two gentlemen lose, it will be JDM versus Neil Magny next up.
All right.
Answer that one.
They love Ian in Boston. I can tell you that.
Oh.
Mike, how was the time in Boston? It was awesome. I don't know if you guys could hear it in my voice throughout different things, but I was fired up to be back in Boston for like a UFC fight week coverage. I was very amped up and kind of hurt a little bit to hop on a plane out of there this morning to come here, but I'm still very excited to do the watch party for this card for the same reason. So yeah, Boston was great. Enjoyed it. Good to see some family and meet some peeps and hang out with the fellow media crew. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Betting wise, what's the lock of the night? Jed, you and I both have a bunch of bets on this card, thanks to the wonderful No Bets Barred podcast. I don't know if you consider anything a lock, but what is the bet I guess you're most confident about, if there is one?
The only thing that I would consider like close to a lock, and it's going to sound paradoxical, Mike, because you know where I'm finishing this. Aljamain Sterling feels by every logical reason like he should just beat the pants right off of Sean O'Malley. I'm betting the vibes that we're going to get some weird chaos anarchy, but when you watch anything about this fight, there's like, and that's not to say Sean O'Malley's a bad fighter. He's not going to get run because he sucks. This is an awful style matchup for him. Just truly a horrific style matchup for him. The worst opponent for him to face in this division by a pretty wide margin, I think, is Aljamain Sterling. So I like if you're a reasonable person, I'd call that a lock, but the vibes are off. I'm choosing O'Malley on vibes. So other than that, I think it's pretty close to a lock that Marlon Vera and Pedro Munoz go over 1.5 rounds.
Yeah.
If you're looking at that, these are two dudes who don't. I would say it's under 4.5 rounds for Weili, Zhang, Amanda Lemos. That one's just not going to the scorecards. Just don't see a world in that. The bet I'm the most excited about, the bet I feel the best about, I'm betting on Chris Weidman at plus 210. Brad Tavares was the Neil Magny of middleweight. Chris Weidman was extremely good at middleweight. Neither of them are their best anymore. So I still think even with a 2-year layoff coming off a catastrophic injury, Chris Weidman would have to be really, really washed not to get this fight. And that's possible, but I think he's going to have enough in the tank to beat a faded Brad Tavares.
I have a Chris Weidman ticket as well. By decision, I got it at plus 500.
It's a great
which
number.
I'm very happy about. But I like Zhang Weili. I think that's the most like single bet exposure I have on anything is Zhang Weili.
People are in on the Amanda Lemos upset train this week.
They are. There are vibes.
It's got
I'm
me
not feeling
questioning
them.
myself. I'm not, but I'm starting to be like, am I just wrong? Because a lot of vibes out there for Amanda Lemos to come through in a big way.
Yeah.
I just think. I mean, I'm still picking Weili, but I think that fight's gonna be more competitive than what the betting line suggests. That's all. I think it's gonna be a good fight for sure.
I think it depends on how that fight goes down. If Zhang just comes out to wrestle, I think that fight gets very uncompetitive very quickly.
Yeah.
But if she does, stand up and just makes it a athlete contest, then all bets are off.
What do we What do we bet? What are we basing that if the Lemos can get wrestled? Just I mean, am I forgetting something? Or she got just dominated on the ground or something?
No, I just don't think
just
she
wait,
has a viable game off her back against Weili Zhang if she's going for takedowns. Like I think Weili Zhang is too physical for any of Amanda Lemos's work for that area. I mean, she has been a pretty solid defensive wrestler in her career, but like the way Amanda Lemos wins this fight to me is things get hectic and she's incredibly offensively talented, and so she just plunks Weili or can find a submission in transition. I think if this fight settles down into something smoother, it's Wiley's just going to consistently take top position, and I don't see Amanda offering much in that scenario.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think if for Lemos to win, it sounds kind of cheesy, but like I think it's gonna be early, like puncher's chance. She's like come out strong, a bit like how Rose just got Weili early. Just
the uglier this fight gets, I think the better it is for Lemos. If they're just exchanging shots on the feet and it's not, hey, I think that's where she really has an opportunity, because it's not like Weili can't get got. She certainly can, but I think her work with Henry Cejudo and that whole thing is she's just become a much better fighter over the past couple of years.
Yeah, definitely just more well-rounded for sure. Okay, a bit of a loaded question, but I'll throw it up there anyway.
Does Dana cry at the scrum if Aljo retains? He's certainly not going to cry.
Not cry, but
he's not going to care.
Yeah.
This is a win-win fight for Dana White. Aljo retains, he's leaving the belt. Like, he's basically said as much. I mean, there's a world where it doesn't happen, but the overwhelming likelihood is if he wins, he is going to say, done with bantamweight, I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm going to call for my shot against Alexander Volkanovski. That's great. I think he should get it if he does that. And then Dana gets to say, all right, dope. Well, Sean O'Malley, you versus Merab for the vacant bantamweight belt. There we go. Done deal.
If O'Malley gets, just to put it bluntly, wrestle fucked, will the UFC really book Merab versus O'Malley?
No.
If it's 25 minutes.
He has to at least look competitive. If he gets Corey Sandhagen in here by Aljo, then he's gonna just fight Cheeto.
I think they're gonna do Merab Cejudo, and then O'Malley. Maybe they'll just do O'Malley Cheeto anyways. You know what I mean? Because that's just a huge fight.
I refuse to acknowledge Henry Cejudo. I know that he came back and he fought and he was gonna fight this card. I'm not allowing it. I'm done with him.
Okay.
He's pulling Ian Gary thing. He's like, nope, not can't ask me questions. Nope.
Just gonna cover my ears and say nope. No go.
Respect.
Yes. I don't hate that stance you're taking either, but I just kind of feel like, yeah.
I mean, it could happen.
I feel like they're going to give it to him after how the Sandhagen fight played out. And I don't just to clarify something, because a lot of people, I've heard it a bunch, is, oh, well, Sandhagen's getting screwed over. Sandhagen's banged up. He's going to be out for minimum. A while.
8 months. Yeah, he said 6 months before he can even do any training. So
yeah, he's probably not fighting until like July. Yeah, July or August of next year at this point. So it's kind of a weird spot for him to be in. He's going to have to watch this division sort of pass him by. But
also, he was
that's injuries. That's how injuries go.
Yeah.
Also, don't be boring.
He was good at the scrum, though. He was very non-boring.
I was about to say the freaking opposite. I wish Corey Sandhagen had a promoter. I wish he had a promoter. that actually cared about Corey Sandhagen, because a promoter would have gone out there and said, what an amazing performance. This guy has one arm. He's going to be out for an entire freaking year. And he just dominated Rob Font like no one has. Just dominated him on the ground. Like Rob Font just basically quit in there. He did that with one arm. When this guy comes back, he will be an animal, you know, but
I'm not saying that those words shouldn't have been said. I would have not given them a lot of credence. It's statistically one of the worst fights in modern UFC history. I don't know what else to say beyond that. There are plenty of excuses. Corey Sandhagen has been good for most of his career.
Excellent.
Look,
he's been awesome.
I'm just saying, I know the stance I took coming off Rose Carla 2. And if somebody came out and was like, I know that Rose Namajunas has 2 wins over Weili, so we're running it back, I'd have been like, fuck you are. Did you watch your last fight? It's the worst thing my eyeballs have ever watched in a cage. You can't do it. That's it. Corey Sandhagen can't do it.
Has a history of fights like that.
Yeah.
Corey Sandhagen does not. He did have one arm.
This is I'm a what have you done for me lately guy. And what he did for me lately was almost put me to sleep while I was working. Man, almost made me fall asleep while I was working. You got to come back, get the elbow healed up, and fight Umar.
He'll definitely have to.
Because that's what's coming. You're going to have to fight Umar.
I mean, a year from now, I mean, we'll see where everything shakes out in a year from now.
He's fighting Umar when he comes back.
A year from now, you think Umar's gonna be the same?
Umar's hurt.
No, Umar's being the champ.
But how hurt is he? I haven't even heard.
Umar could be out till middle of next year too.
We have like a knee issue, something like that.
A shoulder thing.
Shoulder.
It was a shoulder thing.
Well, that'll just never be better. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Once your shoulder gets hurt, it's done. Like
probably doesn't matter. Umar's probably good enough to just beat the brakes off everybody in this division with like half a working body. It'd be fine.
See, Umar's. I'm moving on. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna spin the chair again.
No. I'm unspinning my chair for this. Corey
Reverse spin.
I would not take this. All right.
Do you guys watch Saladin Parnasse just kick a man's guts out? Because that was pretty sick.
I did not.
Over in KSW, the clip's floating around on Twitter.
Okay.
It's dope. Body standing kicks to the body, soccer kicks to the body.
Oh.
It looks incredibly uncomfortable. Man looks like he got gut shot. It's awful.
Casey keeps pointing the wrong way.
I'm not acknowledging that. I'm not acknowledging.
Not doing it.
Over. Yeah.
Not doing it.
I'm done with him.
Larissa Pacheco, pound for pound, #1 right now.
Ooh, I think I have her pretty high. Let me pull up where I have her in our rankings. Yeah. Did y'all watch any of the PFL? I did because I covered it last night.
I was lucky enough to. I captured. There was only like 10 seconds of fighting.
I have her number 6.
10 hours of fighting.
I have her number 6, and Shaheen has her number 6, and we are the 2 highest in the MMA Fighting Global Rankings pound for pound. And that's before, obviously, last night. I'm probably going to give her a bump up to 5 in front of Chris Cyborg for me.
In front of Chris Cyborg.
Wow.
When
was the last time Chris Cyborg fought in MMA? Wasn't it the rematch with
Was it Blanco?
Yeah, it was. I just looked it up. It is the Blanco rematch, which was over a year ago now. And
has it been long?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while. Sorry.
It was April 2022 because she was doing the boxing thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. All right.
If you look at, I have Chris Cyborg, her last run here since losing to Amanda Nunes, her Felicia Spencer, Julia Budd, Blanco, Leslie Smith, Sinead Kavanaugh, Blanco again. That's not exactly a dynamite murderer's row there. So Pacheco's been doing a lot more business lately. And it's not like she's also doesn't have a list of wonderful people on it either, but she's been doing a lot. She's doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Like she did the perfect thing last night of, I have already beaten Elena Kolesnik twice. I am going for knockouts first round both time. I'm going to beat her in the first minute this time. Like did it.
Was that the third time they fought?
It's the third time they fought.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that.
She knocked her out. She knocked her out in the first round twice before. One of them, I think, was in a lightweight playoffs, and I think one was a regular season. And then she was like, I'm gonna beat this girl in the first minute, and she spiked her in 14 seconds. Like, she just did exactly what you're supposed to do in that situation. And she's been her for a minute now. I got a lot of respect for Lucy Pacheco. I
Me
would
too.
love to see her get to fight real opposition.
Yeah, I'm super high on Lucy Pacheco. I've been high on her for a while. She's one of those fighters I've always kind of, when she signed to the UFC, she was like 21. She was super young.
Mm-hmm.
And then she lost like 2 fights in a row, and basically UFC got rid of her like that. And I was like, she was always that kind of like, oh, don't sign to the UFC.
She's still 28.
Yeah, she's only 28
That's
now.
crazy to think about.
Yeah,
she's
she signed to
still
the UFC just
28.
way too young. I think one of her first fights was Jermaine Durandamine. You know, she was obviously always good. She just, the UFC didn't have the patience for her at that time. And man, actually, could she possibly be outside maybe the UFC champs? Has she made the most money as a female fighter?
Okay, I would assume Kayla Harrison has made more.
Yeah.
Because one, Kayla Harrison did win two.
Oh, yeah,
She won
you're
2 PFL tournaments, but also I'm confident her base pay for her other fights is just better in general. But yeah, I mean, certainly high up
She's
there.
doing well for herself. She's doing well for herself.
Yeah, she's about to win another $1 million. Like,
Yeah.
she's gonna beat the brakes off Marina Martina. Or what,
I guess I'm already assuming she just wins that fight.
Dude.
Actually, that's what.
Pacheco's on a 9-fight winning streak. 7 of those were first round finishes. And then decisions over Harrison and Bud. Like, dude, she's a hitter. So I think having her as top 5 female pound for pound, I would have loved a world where we could have seen her and Amanda Nunes fight. You know, that would have been sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we still. Oh no, not Nunes. We could just maybe we'll see her in Cyborg if they do this merger.
I mean, that would also be dope. That would be a great fight.
That would be dope. Well, outside of Harrison, is Harrison even booked? What's going on with her? Just some
Nothing.
Nothing booked, to my knowledge.
Weird. That's just weird. All right. And I think we've already talked about this, but they're asking.
Do you think Weidman should have been on the main card?
Yes.
I'm assuming over the Batista fight.
Absolutely.
He should have been, but I'm not mad at it.
It's fine. I don't care enough. But
2 million, like 1.5 million people are gonna watch Christopher Weidman fight Brad Tavares fight.
Here's my issue with it, honestly. I am substantially more upset about it because Damon Blackshear, Mario Batista is on the main card, and that fight means nothing. It's a short notice fight. In general, Blackshear just fought a month ago. This fight means nothing. And so it is less about Chris Weidman not being on the main card. It's just like, dude, what is that fight doing on the main card? Give me RoboCop on the main card at least. Like, why the hell not do RoboCop on the main card if you want to put Weidman in that premier ESPN Plus spot, like, which I can understand, even if I don't.
If you're not gonna put Weidman, honestly, I would put Natty Silva and Andrea Lee if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be totally fine.
One,
yeah, I mean,
to me, this feels like a Sean O'Malley pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, could you put Mario on the main card?" Even when the Garbrandt fight was happening, because even I get why that would have been on the main card, but still, sure. I still would put Weidman on there. And then even Mario said at his media day that he was fine staying on the card and fighting anybody, but he just wanted to keep the main card spot, and the UFC obliged. And I don't know if that's more of a favor to him or to Sean, because they are teammates, and Sean spent a good amount of time this week putting Mario over as an up-and-comer. So I think Sean probably had something to do with this decision. And the
30-year-old up-and-comer.
Right?
I love this sport and the idea of prospects. You talked a lot about it on Tough Hang.
Yeah,
sure,
I
up and comer is a grown man.
Yeah, I talked about anything in the show, world. But I'm pretty confident that the reason Weidman's still on the prelims is because they've built big video packages already, and they have it timed out on their TV schedule, and they just basically don't have time to put those big packages on the pay-per-view because you have 2 title fights and everything, and they're going to already have video packages ready for that. So I think it's just a TV thing, honestly.
I also think the Catbird spot on the prelim, like the ESPN prelim card, is arguably the best spot. It's arguably the best spot. It's where the most eyeballs are going to be on you. You are the lead-in. You get to do that. Like, I totally get it. part of me would prefer the main card to be swapped, but I don't. Again, largely because the Bautista Blackshear fight's super weird and I don't care about it at all.
All right.
All right. Well, we're about that time, so let's go ahead and make our
Yeah, let's
predictions.
do it.
Jed, I'll begin with you. Do you have bonus predictions? Who walks away with an extra 50K tonight?
I forgot the last time I hosted this. I forgot to do a bonus thing. How much do I want to believe in myself, Mike? That's the real question. So fight of the night. We are going to say I'm going to choose to believe in myself this. We're going to go main event for fight of the night. I'm going to believe that Sean O'Malley is at least going to be competitive, if not get the dub. Your bonuses, I'm probably going to pick Weili Zhang. No, it's just going to be boring. Ian Machado Gary's going to get a bonus because I think he's going to mark Magny. And if Chris Weidman wins at all, that's not a decision. They got to bonus him, right? They got to bonus him if he just gets a dub out there. Not going to do it. I'm going to say go RoboCop for my other bonus. RoboCop's fun as hell, so why not?
I have the same bonuses, Gary, RoboCop, and but my fight of the night will be Marlon Vera, Pedro Munoz.
I'm going fight of the night, the Munoz Vera fight, and the performance of the night will go to Natty Silva and Sean O'Malley.
Ooh.
I love that. If Munoz Vera's fight of the night, Pedro effed up. Pedro needs to be fighting the most boring fight. If that fight gets fun at all, Marlon Vera's probably going to grease him. So,
Well, let's go to the main card picks. I don't know how we'll be feeling after this Chris Weidman fight. Hopefully, we'll be feeling motivated and joyous and just better about ourselves, that we can accomplish things that we didn't think we could before. But it'll kick off with the aforementioned Marlon Vera, Pedro Munoz fight. Jed Meshew, who gets the first dub of the main card?
I'm taking Pedro by decision. I think he can win this fight, as if he doesn't get drawn into a sort of fight where Marlon Vera's like superior power and sort of, explicit offense is going to be more effective. And I think Pedro Munoz is really smart and he doesn't do that. When he was fighting Sean O'Malley, he was doing all of the things that would benefit him and not assist Sean O'Malley. And Vera and O'Malley aren't the same fighters, but there's a broader structural parts of their game that work in similar ways. I think Pedro's going to make this more tactical, not get into brawl, kick the legs a bunch, and outpoint him. It's going to be really close. It might be a split decision. I have a ticket on Pedro Munoz by split decision at plus 900, I think.
Nice.
But like this could just be one of those where each guy wins a round and then it's a toss-up round, and whether you favor Munoz's number of strikes versus Vera's landed like 5 really big punches. But I think I'm going Munoz by decision.
I'm going Vera by decision. I do have a minus 105 ticket on that. I'm probably the least confident in that pick. I kind of regret putting that one in there because I think all the value in this fight is actually on Pedro Munoz, but I don't know. My vibes are feeling Vera and might as well get the best value I possibly can on it. Casey, who wins?
I love this fight, and I'm picking Pedro Munoz by submission late in round 3.
Ooh,
wow.
That's how you – that would be good.
I'm sorry. You didn't pick him to get a bonus? He going to be the first dude to finish Marlon Vera.
I said it's going to be fight of the night.
Oh, but he's going to be the first dude to finish Cheeto, and he ain't going to get a bonus for finishing Cheeto. Whew, you must be expecting big things from Sean O'Malley.
Oh, man. Let's go to the other bantamweight fight. We got Mario Batista versus Damon Blackshear. Let me just say this. Is anybody picking Damon Blackshear here?
No.
Me neither. Anyone picking Mario Batista by finish? Anyone picking a finish?
Oh.
No.
Okay. Batista by decision. Lock it in.
Yeah.
That's that. Ian Machado, Gary, the biggest favorite on the card, minus 485, taking on the Weili veteran Neil Magny, who comes back at plus 370. Casey, can Neil Magny get it done?
Yes, he can. And
Wow,
do it
you're on a
by.
lot of dog
Oh
action
wait, would
tonight,
Neil Magny
Case.
get it done? Oh no, not at
Yeah.
all. Never mind.
Oh, come
Sorry.
on.
I
Sorry.
was like, damn, Casey, you were just going underdogs down the line.
Sorry. No,
Yes.
no
Yes,
way. No, he would not
oh,
get
you
that.
meant Neil Magny. No.
Sorry. Machado Gary in a dominant 30-27. You want 10-8 him, but no Magny's a vet. He'll survive it. But I think it's 30-27 Machado Gary.
Jed, finish here for Ian.
Finish. I officially in our picks thing picked third round TKO. I wish I had gone second round. I think Ian Machado Gary is the best prospect at welterweight. I think he's very, very talented. I think he does all the right things. And I think the most critical part of this, I think Neil Magny he's over it now. He's past the peak. He's had a long, great career. I'm not saying he's going to fall off overnight, but he shouldn't have had nearly as difficult a time as he did with Phil Rowe.
Yeah,
And that to me feels like a fight where we're going to point back and be like, oh, that's when it was very clear that Neil Magny was no longer great. He was no longer at the peak of his powers. And if he was at the peak of his powers, I'd still probably pick Ian Gary. And not, I think he's going to get gassed up here. So I'm going to officially go round 2 TKO.
I'm going round 1. I don't think Neil even gets a real chance to get going here. I think Ian's just going to run him over. The whole vibes here.
Yeah. I just think Magny.
Ian got in his head. Yeah. Neil is feeling not like normal Neil heading into a fight. And who knows? Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe Neil comes out and we'll have a new mythical fighter, like angry Neil Magny. We haven't seen it before. He's going to be pissed getting in there tonight. But I think that will probably ultimately lead to his downfall. He'll try to do too much to hurt this young man, and it's not going to go well for him when he gets a boot across his chin and gets finished.
I will give credit to Ian Machado Gary too for creating a damn lot of interest for a Neil Magny fight. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of the way he markets himself, but it's working, and I'm really interested in that fight. That's all. So good job on him. That's just, yeah.
Co-main event, Zhang Weili defends the strawweight title as a -310 favorite against the +250 underdog Amanda Lemos. I'm picking Zhang Weili second round TKO. Jed.
I have Zhang with the second round submission. I think this fight probably gets a little hairy for a bit, but my default answer to this fight, and it's very MMA mathy and so dumb in some respects, is, hey, Jessica Andrade just sort of manhandled Amanda Lemos, and Weili Zhang manhandled Jessica Andrade. And so by the transitive property of manhandling people, or I guess woman handling people in this instance, Weili Zhang is going to just beat this woman's ass. So that's where I'm at with it.
Casey, is this an new situation for you? You're high on this fight being competitive, but will Amanda get it done?
It's going to be competitive, but she will not get it done. I think it'll be a competitive round in there, but I think for the most part, this is Weili's fight, and I think she'll cruise the first 3 rounds. Not cruise, but she'll never be in big danger in the first 3 rounds, and by the 4th round, she will take her down and ground and pound her out.
If Amanda Lemos wins this fight, which is very possible, I hope the UFC does the right thing, and they say, Yan Zhanhan, you deserve to fight for the title. I'm sorry, we need a real champion in this weight class, so we're just going to go put Tatiana in the title fight because she's going to be the champion for like a hot minute, and then you can fight Tatiana later. But we don't want to keep doing this. Here, you hold the belt. No, you hold the belt. No, you hold the belt. We'd like to get a real champion here.
Dude, if Lemos wins, she's fighting Tatiana Suarez.
If Lemos wins, then Jan is the second biggest loser of that fight. Yeah.
Honestly, Jan is the second biggest loser of the evening.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Yeah. And then the main event, I also have, I think my biggest single bet on this card is Zhang Weili inside the distance. So at -120. Last one, how we're going to close the show. Aljamain Sterling, -250. Sean O'Malley coming back at +205. I'm picking Aljamain Sterling inside the distance. I think my official pick it is second round submission. Casey.
I feel weird saying this out loud, but I'm going on vibes. Sean O'Malley.
It's a way to live.
Sean O'Malley, TKO round 3.
That is going to be insane. Just
It
thinking of future watch party reaction if Sean O'Malley knocks out Aljamain Sterling. And breaking news, Jed will be there too, so we'll get to see his reaction as well. Jed will join us for the main event. My best friend, AK Lee, will join us for the co-main event. So we had to do a little swapping around, but that's going to be fun. Jed, I know where your where your money lies, but the more important MMA fighting picks crew battle of the year, is it Sean O'Malley there as well?
It is. Look, reasonably and rationally, if I'm just betting with my head, Aljamain Sterling sub round 2 feels, honestly, sub round 1 feels pretty viable. It's a horrible style matchup for O'Malley. But I'm betting on vibes. I'm believing in the vibes. It'd be really funny and really, really stupid if Sean O'Malley just, because look, this is me being me. I don't know. It's not the same. They're not the same fighter, not the same person. If Conor McGregor fought Jose Aldo 100 times, I think Jose wins like 90 of them. Like it's such a bad matchup for Conor. And what we have seen moving forward from this, like all of the things Jose does well, Conor is really bad at handling, but he high rolled when it mattered. He won the one that mattered. And it would be very fitting for Sean O'Malley to do the same thing in a very similar circumstance. So I'm rolling with it. Sugar Show. It's going to be an awful title reign. Just it's going to be something, but it'll be fun.
Being said, hit that music. We are done. It's going to be a good time. Jose, boots on the ground, still in Boston, Massachusetts. So stay locked in on this channel for post-fight interviews with the winners. We'll have a post-fight press conference after the event. Watch party, 9:45 p.m. Eastern. It could time out that we're watching round 2.
Buffer's jacket.
I don't know. It could turn out that the first thing we're going to be watching on the watch party is the Chris Weidman fight. So jump on early. We'll see what happens there. It's going to be a great time. And post-fight show after. And then AK and I back for a live edition of On to the Next One at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So everything UFC 292. We got you here at MMAfighting.com. So for Jed, for Casey, I am Mike Heck. This card is going to kick some ass, baby. Let's go.
3 stars.
Let's have a wicked good time.
3 spins.
We're out.
1, 2, 3 spins. That's how good this card is.
So 3-star Meshew fight card. Let's go. Love you.
I'm dizzy.
I had to take my head.